So there's this huge shift happening in commercial real estate right now, and believe it or not, it has almost nothing to do with interest rates or cap rates. It's actually all about your time. In this explainer, we're going to break down the new playbook that the top brokers are using to get out of that daily grind and really start to dominate the market of the future. You know, this quote just hits it perfectly. If you're a CRE broker, you know exactly what this feels like. It's that exhausting Groundhog Day conversation, having the same 101 level chat over and over again before you even have a clue if the person you're talking to is serious. Let's just call it what it is. It is the free consulting trap. And this is the absolute core of the problem. You're a highly paid, incredibly skilled expert, but you're stuck spending your most valuable hours giving away what are basically college-level lectures on market mechanics, often to people who aren't even qualified to do a deal. It's just a massive drain on your time and energy. So just how bad is that time drain? Well, let's put a number on it. Let's say, conservatively, you spend just 3 hours a week on these kinds of chats. That adds up to 150 hours a year. We're talking about nearly 4 full work weeks, just gone. Poof. What could you do with an entire extra month dedicated only to closing deals? And that wasted time, it snowballs into much bigger problems. So let's dive into the first major hurdle for every modern broker, the battle for access. And I don't just mean access to deals. I'm talking about access to the best talent too. Let's be real for a second. The number one problem in so many markets right now isn't the interest rates, it's the lack of inventory. Why? Because all the prime assets are locked up tight by legacy owners. You know, the baby boomers and the silent generation, who are sitting on a mountain of equity and are completely, 100%, turned off by the old school sales tactics. And this right here, this is exactly how they see you. When you make that cold call asking if they want to sell, you aren't a helpful advisor. In their mind, you are a predator. You're a shark circling the legacy they spent a lifetime building. And that door just slams shut, instantly. So how in the world you get past that? You use what's called a pattern interrupt. Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got the shark script they've heard 1,000 times and immediately shut down. But on the right, the historian script. You're not asking for their building, you're offering them an honor. You're telling them their life's work is important. That genuine validation is a key that can unlock doors that have been bolted shut for decades. Now, this whole access problem isn't just about buildings. It's also about people. The smartest, most ambitious Gen Z and millennial recruits, they want absolutely nothing to do with what they call a dinosaur brokerage. It's an immediate deal breaker for them. And this slide shows you exactly why. The value proposition is just night and day. The old school firm says, we'll give you a desk and a phone. The modern media-first firm says, we'll give you a platform. We'll give you the tools to build your personal brand and become a known authority in this market. Okay, and this is the leverage moment. I want you to picture this. You're the senior broker. You're in that final negotiation with a top Gen Z recruit. The contract's on the table, but they're pushing back on the commission split. You don't argue. You just calmly gesture through the glass wall of the conference room to your in-house studio, and you say, look, we don't just give you a phone. We provide the infrastructure for fame. And for that ambitious talent, access to a platform that can make them a star is worth way more than a few percentage points on a commission. That, right there, is leverage. All right, so you've cracked the code on access, but there's another silent killer out there just eating away at your profit margins every single day, becoming a commodity. This is where we get into that constant, painful pressure of fee compression. So what are we really talking about with fee compression? It's not just a client trying to negotiate a little harder. No, it's a systemic market force that actively punishes you for being interchangeable. The more you're just like every other broker out there, the less you are worth. It's literally the price you pay for being a generalist. If you were to actually map out the career of a generalist, their authority curve would basically be a flat line. Their perceived value just never really goes up, which means their power to command premium fees never grows either. They spend their whole career on the defensive, just trying to protect a standard commission. But now, look at the specialist's path. It's a completely different story. Their authority curve bends sharply upwards. Why? Because with every single piece of deep dive content they create for their niche, their perceived value compounds. They get more valuable over time, and guess what? Their fee power grows right along with it. So, how do you become that specialist? Well, the answer is a simple, incredibly powerful, and, this is the most important part, a finite strategy. It's called the micro series. This is not about launching some weekly podcast you have to do forever. No. It's about creating a focused, high-impact asset of just 4 to 6 episodes, all dedicated to one specific, high-value niche. For example, let's say you wanted to absolutely own the medical office niche in your city. Your micro-series could look exactly like this. Each episode is a super deep dive answering a critical question for your ideal client. And the best part? Once it's recorded, this asset works for you 24/7, cementing you as the undisputed authority in that space. And that brings us to the final boss, the big one, the single biggest disruption any of us have ever faced in our careers, the fight to stay relevant in the age of artificial intelligence. Look, there's no easy way to say this, so I'll just be direct. For decades, a huge part of a broker's value was having access to data that clients didn't. Well, that era is over. AI is making data completely free and instantly available to absolutely everyone. If your only value is running comps, your job is in serious, serious trouble. So what's left? What's our move? It's simple. Everything the machine can't do. As data becomes a commodity, something called the human premium skyrockets in value. Your new job isn't about finding the data. It's about providing the trust, the empathy, and the human nuance to actually interpret it. Okay, so how do you demonstrate that human premium to everyone at scale? This is the critical piece of the puzzle. High-quality video is the only way to broadcast the personality, the empathy, and the genuine trust that AI simply cannot replicate. It's how you prove you're more than just a really smart chatbot. And think about this for a second. We are stepping into an age of AI deepfakes and automated avatars. In that world, a professionally produced video with great lighting and crystal clear audio becomes the ultimate signal of authenticity. It is undeniable proof that a real, live human expert is sharing real insight. It becomes your proof of humanity. So to bring this all home, what we've really been talking about here is a fundamental shift in the actual tools of the trade. The old ways are dying out, and a brand new toolkit is required if you want to win in this new landscape. This slide really just boils the entire strategy down to its essence. The old toolkit, the phone and the Rolodex, it's being replaced. The new toolkit for the modern broker is the camera and the microphone. The people who master these new tools are the ones who are going to own the market of tomorrow. Period. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Right now, the digital shelf space for all these niches, it is wide open, but it is not going to stay that way for long. The first broker to plant their flag by filming the definitive series for a niche wins that territory. So the only question left is, what territory are you going to claim?